Generational talent playing at the peak of her powers.
She steps back, has a good look, and nails it.
To become the first ever female player to hit a televised nine-dart finish.
Finds it with a third dart. Great to get that victory.
Kelsey for the countdown.
Just judging by her facial expression. Doesn't need to go for the ball as she finds the triple 18. But she can, and she will.
Applied by the flying fin. 82, a couple of choices. Beds the ball to leave double 16. Super stuff from Laura Turner.
Into 120. Good guide, utilises it, double top. There might be a fair bit in the way of this, but no mistake for Gemma Hayter.
Now got the opportunity. She does, so it's 2 at double 16.
Game shot in the third leg. Robin
She only needs the one. Well, 18 leaves the double for Ton Topper to start. A super start. It is the first nighttime session of Women's Week 4. Group B gets underway this evening from the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, and you're very welcome to the action here on Pluto TV. Hello, welcome along. It's been a warm day here in Portsmouth, and the action is going to be red hot tonight as Group B gets underway here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Keeping his cool in the studio is the former Lakeside champion and England's non-playing captain at the Six Nations at the weekend. Probably the reason why they won the Six Nations. Scott Mitchell is alongside me. Great to see you once again, Scott. And we've got an intriguing Group B ahead of us.
Yeah, we really have. This is going to be fast. It's going to be furious, and somebody's going to have to get out of the box quick and dominate this group. I think it's such a tight group.
Kirsty Hutchinson is the player at the top of Group C. That was our afternoon session earlier on today. 4 wins out of 5, and by the sounds of it, she's gaining a lot of confidence in her game at the minute.
Yeah, we know that she's had some ups and downs. You know, there's been a few dartitis issues for her, and it's just the hardest thing to overcome. So when things go right for her, like today, she's one of those that you just feel so happy for, because she is one of the nice people, and yeah, she's got it right today. She's overcome those fears, and maybe this is going to give her confidence to move on from here.
This is how the table looks going into the second day's worth of action in this Group C. As you can see, Kirsty Hutchinson leading the way, 8 points to her name. Sophie McKinley and Vicky Purn both with 6 points apiece. Paige Porn and Natalie Gilbert on 4. Angela Kirkwood at the bottom of the table on 2. This is how the tournament bracket breaks down. Kirsty Vinakaina won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. And tonight we're going to see the arrivals of Laura Turner and Steph Clark, also Six Nations winners at the weekend, and Robin Byrne, who was also a part of the team at the Six Nations representing Ireland. Gemma Hayter and Trina Gulliver come into proceedings following their exploits in Group A. Now, Gemma Hayter, one of the 2 players involved that came out of Group A. Now, she was the favourite before a dart was thrown this week. What would be your assessment of Gemma's progress, not just in this tournament, but over the course of the season so far?
Well, when she came back with a bang, didn't she? She hit the ground running, and you know, maybe she feels that maybe she could have won Group A on for the first 3 days, but the pressure you put on yourself with the year that she's had, kind of sometimes it's you that's disappointed in you when you're not really playing actually that bad. I think she has a statement to make this evening.
And in terms of Laura Turner, she's somebody that obviously works here, she commentates here, but her record actually when she's on the stage she's playing is fairly good, consistently makes it through the finals night, has made it to a final. She looks like she's in a good space with things. Yeah,
very much so. I mean, she won the lady singles at the Six Nations just last weekend, and I think she's in a really happy place with darts at the moment. I think she's found where she fits in. She loves doing her bits of commentary. She loves being up there and playing. She loves playing her county. I think she's in a really happy place at the moment, and that makes her a dangerous player in this group.
But in terms of the odds, it is all about Gemma Hayter in terms of the betting. She goes off, well, not just a favourite, but she goes off a hefty favourite, 4-7 with the bookies. In terms of the odds, okay, probably you'd expect Gemma to be favourite, but would you expect her to be at that shorter price?
Probably, yes. If you're the man that's setting the odds and you've seen what she's been doing since she's been coming back, then yes, she's probably looking at somebody from the outside will say that she's the pick of the bunch. But we all know that darts isn't played on paper, it's played on that board, and it's who turns up and plays.
Now, you've seen half of these players in action at the Six Nations over the course of the weekend. What can we expect from Laura, from the other two as well?
I think what we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see sort of anybody run away with it. We're going to see battling games the whole evening. Once you're an international player, you learn to fight, you learn to dig in when it's going wrong. And that's what we have, everything in abundance in this group. And that's what's going to make it very interesting come at the end of tomorrow night.
It is 18 plus. It is gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series this evening. Right, let's get into our first game of the evening session, shall we? And let's hand over to two familiar faces, Trina Gulliver and Laura Turner.
Yeah, thank you very much, Henry. Welcome, viewers, to the Women's Week 4 here at the Modus Live Lounge. And I cannot wait for the action to get underway. What an opening match we've got, Trina.
Oh, yes, we have a superb opening match, and it's... hang on. It's us.
No, it can't be us.
I reckon it is, you know.
No, really not. Well, anyway, look, we're here. We're in comms, right? So what do you think? Even if it is us, what's the outcome? Because I reckon you're going down, Trina.
Well, I think you're wrong, Laura. I absolutely think you're wrong. I think I'm going to beat you 3-0.
Yeah, it could happen. It has happened many a time before.
I'm sorry, it's going to happen.
Well, okay, well, I reckon that there might be a chance that actually it is us, and we might need to put it down to the stage.
Let's get going.
Okay, right,
Okay.
with you.
Right.
They are great commentators, aren't they? But they are going to duke it out onto the stage. I thought we were going to get the night off, Scotty. I've got to be honest with you. Would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Well, I thought they were going to get proper multitasking. But, yeah, it seems that they need us tonight, Henry. They need us.
Indeed they do. Well, they're great commentators, but they are going to be two players that are going to entertain us on the hockey on this Thursday evening. So it is Turner against Gulliver to kick things off. And I tell you what, Scott, they've both definitely got a Turner pace on them. That is for sure. But we know exactly about their capabilities sat in these chairs. But what we're going to see for them on the stage. Now, Trina's already played 3 days this week. She finished third in Group A, comfortably third in Group A as well, whilst Laura Turner's been watching every single dart so far this week, swapping the comms box for the hockey. The 41-year-old from Byfleet, the runner-up in Women's Week 2, to Kirsi Vinnakainen. As for Trina Gulliver, well, her CV is something of the envy of every other female player in the game. 55 years of age from Southam, 10-time world champion, 6-time world master, 71 caps for England, and she went through a spell of almost a decade at county level without defeat. That is the CV that she possesses, and it looks like her game's back in the right direction, and Jack Garwood will steer us in the right direction. He's in charge of all of the action this evening. Scott Mitchell is handily alongside me to talk through all of the night's action. And we better be careful what we say in this first match, Scotty, because we know that anything we do say may and will be used in evidence against us.
81.
Yeah, it generally is. So why should today be any different?
$45.
Trina, as I say, finished third in Group A, and it was a very comfortable job as well in terms of finishing third. At times, her scoring was absolutely immaculate. Maybe the one thing that will give her some cause for concern
42.
is maybe her doubling at points over the course of the week. As for Laura, she's got that difficult shift, hasn't she, where she's got to play the first game and got to play the third game, which can sometimes be a little bit of a double-edged sword, because if you win the first two, then you've applied instantaneous pressure upon your opposition in this group. However, if it backfires, then you find yourself chasing your tail right from the very get-go.
Yeah, very much so. It's always difficult to open the evening up as well. To be the first game on is always difficult up there.
54.
No matter whether it's 9:30 in the morning or at this hour of the evening, there's always a few nerves. Once the first game goes, it seems the next 9 tend to rattle themselves off. But yeah, always difficult to play the first game of the evening, and particularly for these two who are so well known for being sat in our very seats as well in this place. So
66.
Is it going to be more difficult for Laura than it is for Trini in respect of Laura's been commentating this week?
I think it can be. It depends on your mental attitude with it all. I mean, I had a few years where I sort of played and commentated at Lakeside, and ironically, funny enough, when I said no, I couldn't commentate anymore, I need to concentrate on the darts, I went and won it. But
66.
yeah, lots of people were telling me I shouldn't have been doing the two, but I think Laura's one of those bubbly characters who, if anybody can carry off doing the two, it'll be Laura.
Is it about finding that right mix? Because there's a conversation in snooker where Sean Murphy commentates for the BBC at the Crucible. He's still inside the world's top 16, making it through regularly to finals of things, won the Masters this year. And there's been a lot of conversation about that. Is it just finding the blend and the mix that works for you and it doesn't distract from your game?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it's where your mindset is, because
170.
Sometimes you have to say things in here in the commentary box and you start thinking like a commentator when you're playing, and that's the mindset. You can be thinking up there going, you make a mistake and you can go, oh, what are they saying up there in that commentary box about me, knowing full well what you'd have said in your head over a situation that you've just caused yourself. So, but I think they both trust us, Henry. I think we're all right.
Laura, you require
I think we're safe.
110.
And if we're not safe, we'll know all too well. Turner looking at 110 to take the opening leg, not to be on this occasion. So Gulliver has got a break opportunity here. 2 10s for 1-0 lead. And just a reminder that it is over a best of 5, first to 3 format this Women's Week. So every single breaker for her effectively accounts double for what it would be in a regulation week here.
And that one left Trina's hand. I'm sure she felt that was going in. She's gone right across the hockey to try and use the angle of those two. Hasn't quite worked for her. So it's Turner to come back then for tops and to take the first leg of the match.
No score.
Not to be, and so Gulliver presented with a second opportunity. A second visit at double 10 to take the opening leg. And now up for double 5.
10. Laura, you require 40.
Come on, ladies. Who wants it?
Well, between the pair, 10 missed darts at a double in this opening leg.
Game shot on the first leg. Laura Turner.
Well, Laura is the one that manages to take the opening leg, and both exchange a laugh in the process. Probably wondering what on earth we're saying about that.
Yeah, superb darts from Laura there. 2 right on the top wire, and then to follow it in underneath.
95.
The easiest thing to say is, oh, it's a great marker, but one of the hardest things to replicate for the 3rd time, your throw exactly the same to drop it in there, and she did extremely well there.
I've got a question for you, Scotty.
100.
Go on, then.
Now, both of these players, obviously, as we've mentioned ever since this game began, are commentators. Is there anybody currently in the professional setup that has not tried out commentary you think actually could make a decent commentator?
Well, I'm gonna say most commentators I know don't fall asleep in the sun with the sunglasses on.
100.
So, on their afternoon off, a difficult one, that one to say. I think there's probably a few out there that maybe could come and do it, but they're probably not quite ready just yet.
There's a couple that I think could do a decent job in commentary.
60.
Yeah, there was a couple also at the Six Nations where they were interviewing between games that ruled themselves out of the job, I would say. But yeah, we got one here that I thought was very good. Jared, he was Jared Cole. He was very good at answering the questions at the weekend when he was being interviewed. Very impressed with him.
There's a few there. I think Connor Scott, I think would be decent. Ross Smith, I think, is a very, very good talker in interviews. Luke Humphreys, I think,
45.
when the time comes, he wants to walk away in a number of years' time. I think he'll walk into a TV studio. I know Cam Crabtree's had desires to take up a bit of punditry work. I think Scott Williams, actually. I know it's a bit of a weed shout, but I think Scott Williams would be quite entertainment value.
No, I don't think you've mentioned one there that I don't agree with. I think you're probably right, but I
60.
hope they all continue to play really, really well so that you and I can keep our jobs at
Good
this
point.
current time. So, yeah.
Game shot on the second
And
leg.
if Trina
Gulliver.
continues hitting things like that, then we might not be seeing her as much in the commentary box for good reason, because she'll be
Third leg,
continuing
it's
to win
Laura to
matches.
throw first.
Yeah,
Game on.
lovely from the Golden Girl there. 76, bang, bang, out we go. Lovely stuff from her.
50.
Katrina, one thing that struck me when we spoke to her early on in the week is her ever-endearing love of the game. It could be so easy having won what she's won and achieved what she's achieved to say, do you know what?
45.
I'm happy with what I've done. I'm going to take a backward step. But there's a fire, maybe as much now as there ever has been, to rekindle some of the glory days. And I think there's a sense inside her that she thinks there's still something tangible yet to be achieved in her
100.
career.
And I have to fully agree. I think what goes unknown with Trina back when she was dominating, she was also working so hard for the ladies' game.
85.
Trying to get themselves a World Masters, their own standout. She did so much work back in the day that it's quite. She was turned down on
60.
so many occasions for so many things, and she didn't take no for an answer, and she kept going in the way that for the ladies' game. And when you see where the ladies' game is now,
85.
Trina will say it's not just down to me, but she was the big name. She was the Golden Girl for the reason, and she did an awful lot in those early days to get the women's games recognised and get their own world championships. And that's been continued on by
140.
varying players throughout the years. But she always came across as the pioneer for me. And the fact that she still absolutely loves the game, she still plays now with all that she's gone through in the last few years. You know, credit has to be given where credit is due, and that's Trina for me. She has been brilliant for the game and the ladies' side of the game for many, many years.
Well, it's Turner here who's got
95.
6 darts on 151. Will leave herself on 56 upon a return to a 2-1 to the good. Gulliver can only try and apply pressure, but applying pressure is something that she's going to do.
97.
Heads down
Glory
to the
require
17th, leaves herself
56.
on 66 if Turner cannot find the 56. And this to put her within a leg of the match. Well, the 24 leaves herself 32.
Game shot on the third
Well, that's a happy
leg. Laura
accident.
Turner.
And that puts Laura Turner 2-1 to the good.
Fourth leg. It's Trina to
The
throw
way it
first.
went in, you nearly think
Game
that
on.
she went for it that way, to be fair. It looked a very, very positive treble 8.
60.
That's the second best finish taken that way on this stage.
60.
Only problem is the other time it was taken that well, it was never broadcast. We had a staff challenge once upon a time, and our director Simon managed to hit that checkout to win his match that way, and it never got broadcast, and probably for good reason, to be honest. I can't remember anything else from that particular challenge, but I remember that.
$97. $140.
So Turner now on the cusp of victory, 201 points away. Gulliver can only try and apply pressure, and
60.
she's unable to leave herself on a finish. So Turner 6 from this point to complete a 3-1 victory, which would kickstart her night in some style.
Yeah, there's always a certain amount of pressure when you've
59.
kind of made the final of the previous sort of ladies series and sort of coming in pretty much at the last minute as a replacement as well, having worked all week to start off
24.
with a win.
Laura, you require 142.
Give her a bit of confidence. Trina hasn't really applied any pressure there.
$60. Trina, you require
Leaves herself on a 2-darter, but what could Gulliver make of the 160 to take us all the way? That's perfectly sat for another. Unable to find, flies high, but
100.
Turner could be getting off to a
Laura, you
flying
require
start if she
82.
can take out this 82.
Where is she going here? She's hit the 12, so it's now bullseye for the match for Laura Turner.
41.
It's not
Trina,
there,
you
so
require
Trina has an
60.
opportunity to square this game up at 2 apiece. 2 darts it should be at tops, 2 darts it will be at tops.
Game shot.
Only needs the one.
Trina Gulliver.
And so we are back level 2-2. One leg
Fifth
to
and
decide
final
who's going to
leg.
win
It's
this
Laura to throw
commentators'
first.
derby.
Game on.
Yeah, all going with throw here early doors.
I suppose if there's any kind of motivation, look, they'll be motivated enough to want to win this week anyway.
140.
But I suppose the other motivation is at least if they qualify for Saturday night, they won't have to sit next to me in a commentary box.
Well, that
140.
should be enough to get them both going. And here they are, back-to-back 140s. They must have heard you.
So much so that Matthew Egger decided to traverse around Europe to playing tournaments to escape my company.
He headed off back to the Estonia Open.
78.
Apparently it's the Greenland Classic for him this weekend.
I gather Greenland's very nice this time of year.
100.
Turner leaving 1-2-1 to get this game won and to get herself off to a positive start for the week. She plays game 1 and game 3, so in that particular suit, you get the sense that a good start is absolutely essential. And she's got 6 darts here from 1-2-1 to ensure of exactly that. She's found the treble, doesn't have to chase around the bullseye, which is why she goes 25 to give herself a match start at double 18.
85.
Which she was unable to get on this occasion, but she is going to get 3 more upon her return.
Yeah, nicely done from Laura. To have a double already with her 12th dart
59.
shows what sort of leg
Laura,
that
you
she's had.
require
And
36.
Trina's been right there with her until that visit.
So Turner to get the job done, looking at double 18. Chasing double 9.
18.
Clips the wire,
Trina,
but the wrong
require
side. And has Gulliver
124.
got a big shot in her locker?
$58. Laura, you
Lucky
require
for more there from
18.
Gulliver. Turner returns for double 9.
She'll go straight at it.
2 9s. One left, and Gulliver breathing down her neck.
No
And
score.
she's going to get a look at this
Trini
66
requires
to
66.
snatch this game from the grasp of Laura, who has had multiple opportunities to cross the line. Gulliver's going to get one in hand at tops.
26.
And that was not a poorly
Laura, you
thrown dart,
require
not in the
18.
slightest.
Now, when that left her hand, she knew that had a good chance to Gulliver.
And so Turner back for double 9, and
Gets
this
shot
time she
and the match.
finds.
Laura
It's
Turner.
relief more than anything as she gets the better of Trina Gulliver in her last leg to side. And there was a number of missed darts to win the game for Laura, but she manages to get over the line. She beats Trina Gulliver by 3 legs to 2 to kickstart the evening's action. This the tail of the tape. Missed doubles perhaps the key talking point in that one, but Laura Turner off the mark. Coming up after the break, Steph Clark takes on Gemma Hayter. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne Belson. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne Belson. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. For the break, Laura Turner got the better of Trina Gulliver by 3 legs to 2 to get her campaign off to a winning start. Gemma Hayter missed out on winning Group A for the first time at a Women's Week yesterday afternoon, and so she's back for Group B and will take on Steph Clark, the 34-year-old from Shrewsbury, you take your pick. She was a part of the victorious England team at the Six Nations at the weekend, up against Gemma Hayter, who's made the fairly long trip across the A32 to Gosport to Portsmouth this evening. For Steph, a fastly improving player, somebody that we saw at the ADC Tour Finals, had a very successful spell there in 2024. Then, as a consequence, was invited to play in the Women's Week. She's had a good season on the Women's Series as well. That was all capped off at the weekend as she was a part of the victorious England side that would win the Six Nations Championship. The women and the men doing the double in that particular tournament.
89.
And she could be one of those players, Scott, that this week could maybe go under the radar a little and can cause a few problems as a consequence.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Steph Clark, and I was speaking to her earlier, and about a year ago, just over a year ago, I met her for the first time, and she was quite a shy person in amongst the England camp, and now you couldn't see more opposite. She very much feels settled and part of the team, and quite rightly so. And she has when you watch her, she has a gritty determination when she's throwing, that she wants those darts to go exactly where she wants them to go, and it's all about her and her concentration.
60.
Gemma will be looking ahead to a campaign
95.
at Blackpool's Winter Gardens at the World Match Play. Come around about this time next month. In fact, a month tomorrow, the tournament takes place. She opens up her campaign against Fallon Sherrock in what's probably the tie of the first round of that particular
82.
tournament.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That really is one. It's a mouth-watering prospect, that one. Both with the same management company, so not riding on it.
If you require,
bit like
90.
Formula One, you don't want to get beat by your stablemate, do you? So, yeah, really looking forward to that.
As long as they get along more jovially than the McLaren pair of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris have been recently, we'll be absolutely fine.
Oh, they just can't stop touching one another, those two. Unfortunately, it's costing millions of pounds every time they crash into one another.
71.
But, yes. I think it's Austrian Grand Prix this week, isn't it?
Yes, one of the great tracks that is. Double top.
51.
Just underneath, and if Hayter's going to pitch this first leg against the throw, she's going to have to find a 1-3-2, not to be on this occasion, and so Steph Clark will return for double 10 to take out the opening leg.
$122. Steph, you require 20.
Yeah, went for a big 15, hit the 45, left herself 10. But Steph now going for double 10.
Game shot on the first leg.
She takes
Steph
it nicely.
Second leg, it's Gemma to throw first. Game on. $108.
There's our first 180 of the evening. Comes to us via Gemma Hayter.
45.
Nicely done by Gem. We're off the 9, and Henry didn't even have to say a word.
81.
Very unusual.
I'm just keeping myself to myself tonight, Scott. Probably for good reason.
Yeah, aye.
97.
Carry on saying I, me. I'll confuse you for Glenn Durrant.
Oh, I'm talking about your aye.
59.
I'm going to have to turn the light down. I can turn the lights off in the commentary box here. You'll blind me with them eyes.
60.
For anybody that's just tuned in, I may have sunburnt myself earlier on this afternoon, and everybody has
85.
decided to take the mickey as a consequence. Gemma leaving herself 96 to level this game up at 1 apiece. It's a decent leg in riposte. Now,
59.
Gemma's had spells,
Gemma, you
hasn't she,
require
this week,
96.
where when it's clicked together, it really has clicked. And I think the one frustration will be at times maybe just a lack of consistency. Because she's found
Shot
moments
on the
like that.
second leg. Gemma
And what
Hayter.
she wants to do is try and ensure they're not just one-off moments, but that a big moment for her,
Third
her first
leg,
leg on
it's
the
Steph
board,
to
and
throw first.
perhaps an indication
Game on.
there that she's feeling the heat a little bit. It is very warm in that auditorium tonight.
100.
It's a very hot day today.
Yeah, muggy as well, isn't it? It's one of those days today, and that kind of
85.
comes in. And as darkness falls and as we go further into the evening, it will cool off, but not helped by our studio lights here. We have
59.
this very brilliant purpose-built studio. It is just the best thing, I think, since sliced bread for me.
55.
I do like it here. This is just, it's built for dart players to play their best game. And if you don't play your best here, you can't blame the surroundings or the
44.
atmosphere. It's just, the throw is absolutely lovely.
Well, Steph made it through to the Saturday night at Women's Week 2, would lose out in the pool
100.
stages. 3-2 defeat to Laura England Stanley, coupled up with a 3-1 defeat to Kirsi Vinakainen.
100.
Did have some joy on the ADC women's circuit last year, but nothing to report
100.
from this season's competition for her. As for Gemma, she's picked up a hat-trick of titles on that circuit. One event 4 beat Sulo for 5-0.
45.
Event
Gemma, you
6 beat
require
Angela
161.
Kirkwood 5-1. And in the last event, beat Joe Locke by a 5-1 score. And she's going to find a 1-6-1. The treble 17 goes a begging. And so Clark here has an opportunity at 1-5-3, but she doesn't take it. She probably be broken because Hayter's back on double 12.
She has a chance here. Goes
80.
up to hit the treble
Gemma, you
18.
require
Doesn't
24.
find any success, so it's Hayter then back for 24. Wow, that is right on the wire on the inside,
Yeah,
and
shot
that is
on the third
right
leg.
smack
Gemma
bang
Hayter.
centre of the double 6. It's a break of throw for Gemma Hayter.
Fourth leg. It's Gemma to throw first. Game on.
And this is where what we said earlier on tonight about breaks counting for doubles. She's got the break of throw there, 2-1 up, and now throwing to win this contest. And
45.
And that's how fast our cameras zoom, ladies and gentlemen. State of the art here.
60. $60. $81.
for Steph, she's got the two players that have played in Group A and are opening
60.
2 matches, which I just wonder whether that could be just maybe a little bit of a disadvantage because you're playing players that are very warm when you're, I suppose, fairly cold because you haven't played in the week
96.
so far.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. It does take a couple of games to settle, particularly when you've not been here for quite a while. And
100.
yeah, you could say that. You could say that because Gemma does come in and play in some of the regular weeks, doesn't she, as well? Such is her talent.
83.
Not sure she's played in this series yet, but I'm sure we will watch her in due course. And in a very good position to qualify for the Global Championship at the end of the year. In fact, she's in a good position to qualify for pretty much anything. Global Championship, World Championship.
60.
Pretty much the
Gemma,
world's
you
her oyster at
require
this present moment in
111.
time. And this game could be over in a short space of time. Treble 17 would have left Tots or 111 to win it. And so for Steph Clark, the only way
51.
she may save this
Steph, you
game is by
require
taking out this 121.
It's more than within her capabilities, but not this time. And you can see by the look on her face what she thinks of that.
40. Jemmy requires 60.
To get her campaign off to a winning start. 2 darts at double top. Of which
Shot
Gemma
and the
Hayter
match.
duly
Gemma
obliges, kicking off her campaign with a 3-1 victory against Steph Clark. As for the Swan, well, it wasn't a swimming start, was it? It's Gemma Hayter who gets out the traps the quicker, and she gets her campaign off to a winning start. Well, that the tail of the tape, average in excess of 80. Deezer doubling at 50%. Hayter beats Clark 3-1. Next up, Robin Byrne for the first time this week's in action against Laura Turner, already victorious tonight.
$54. Charlie require 164. $44. $32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George
require
Gay wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
it.
done.
Got in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Gemma Hayter got the better of Steph Clark by 3 legs to 1. Decent performance, averaging in excess of 80, 3 from 6 in terms of her doubling. Next up for us, we see Laura Turner return to the stage. She got the better of Trina Gulliver by 3 legs to 2 in the Battle of the Commentators. And she's back in action here against Robin Byrne, playing for the first time at this Women's Week. I don't know what she was pointing out. I haven't said anything yet, Laura. I promise.
She doesn't even need to know.
Well, let's find out a bit more about Robin Byrne, the 28-year-old from Dublin, who played at the Six Nations last weekend, making her 3rd appearance at a Women's Week. As for Laura, a second appearance of the night, looking to make it through to yet another finals here at the Live Lounge Report. So now Robin Byrne is going to be playing, of course, at the Women's World Match Play. She'll be taking on Lisa Ashton in the first round of that particular competition. So for her, this is really good preparation, really handy preparation ahead of that particular tournament. A guarantee of 8 games at least on the televised stage. There'll be realistic expectations for her to then make it through to the Saturday. She'll find out a lot by the end of this week as to where her game is at in terms of the match play and how big a dent she could possibly make in that particular draw.
55.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a big fan of Robin, and I've known her for a fair while. And one thing you say about these guys and girls from the Republic of Ireland, boy oh boy, do they just support one another. And last weekend was another
60.
prime example of how they get behind their own. Sometimes to their detriment, sometimes
85.
it does, you know, turn your opponents on, but they are fantastic. And Robin Byrne, for me, was kind of on the odds at 5-1 this evening. She was the value for me about getting out of the group at 5-1. Yeah, I've always been impressed with her, and you just forget that she's only 28, I think, now, and she seems to be around, particularly with the international scene, such a long time, and gives so much to the team. She's going to be, without doubt, this isn't the end of her darting career. It's very much right on the cusp of something big. She's won a couple of women's series events as well, just to show that she has some super talent.
39.
It's just making sure that you can get it out there as a consistency.
Well, I think it's actually gone under the radar that Robin Byrne is the highest ranked player in the Women's Series Order of Merit that we've got here this week, because she's a place above Gemma Hayter in the Women's Series Order of Merit. Robin Byrne 5th, Gemma Hayter 6th in the race to the Winter Gardens. And so maybe the numbers that she was being touted at could represent a bit of value when you consider the form guide over the past 12 months or so.
Yeah, when she finds her mark and she hits her game, she is very difficult to beat. And
42.
You know, she's been a World Cup and Six Nations team winner with the Republic of Ireland as well. So, and she does lead the line for them. It's one of those.
74.
She is one hell of a talent and has been, and I still think there's the best to come from her yet.
Tops for Turner.
34. Robin, you
to be,
require
so Robin looking at 136 to take the opening leg. Can't be done now. Turner back for tops for the break.
You require 40.
For the breaker throw. Bend the wire with dart 2.
No score.
But cannot get
Robin,
it with her third dart.
91.
And so Byrne looking at 91. For what would be a holy throw that will feel somewhat like a break when you consider the way this first leg's gone.
67. Or you require
Tidied up
40.
nicely there by Byrne.
Game shot on the first
Doesn't
leg.
get to
No
return back, but was sat there waiting. Had she got to go.
Second leg, it's Laura to throw
Laura
first.
not realising it was a breaker throw. That's focus for you.
Well, just like we said a couple of moments ago, it was a breaker throw that was so comfortable. If Robin Byrne nicked that leg, it would have felt like a break. But I suppose this is the good side of playing first and third. She could win this one, Laura. She would have played 2 of the first 3 matches, would have won 2 of the first 3 matches.
24.
And everybody will then see her at the top of the pile.
Yeah, the thing with this Group B is, having played in it myself before, you don't want to be losing 2 games on the trot. It's paramount that you don't.
100.
No, for Turner, if you can get those couple of wins, you need probably generally 4 to 5 wins to get yourself out of this one. We have seen some extremely strange weeks where 3 has got you through, but they don't happen often, and it's all on legs count difference then, and who's beat who and when.
85.
By how far?
And infamously, we had that week where Rob Collins got through with just 4 points to his name, losing his first 6 and then winning his last 2 games and then got through to Saturday night.
Yeah, that was a crazy Group B, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the most incredible states of affairs we've ever seen here at the
41.
Super Series. But I'm sure both players would rather it just be academic work, and that so far is exactly what Laura Turner's doing. Had to survive a few missed darts at double from Trina in game 1, but in this one against Robin, she's really dominated right from the very first dart.
Yeah, she very much has, and
60.
Looks very comfortable as well up there.
$140.
Yeah, good
Laura,
response from Byrne.
155.
Takes her down to 161, so keeping Laura Turner honest.
Sneaking into the treble.
82. Robin, you require 161.
Robin looking at 161 to level up at 1 apiece. Couldn't find the treble 17, which would have afforded a dart at the ball.
Laura, you require 73.
So Turner for a 2-0 lead. Treble 16 leaves Laura Dart at double 9, and the double 9 is found, and that's a 2-0 lead. And Laura Turner is a leg away from winning her first 2 games and getting off to the perfect start. She wasn't even meant to be playing this week. She came in as a late replacement for Lorraine Winstanley,
92.
who unfortunately had to withdraw. And so this is basically a free roll, considering that she was meant to actually be sat in the commentary box all week long.
What are you saying? You didn't want me here?
Scott, you know I love spending time in your company. Hey, I'm not the one who makes up who commentates when.
No, very true.
39.
And it would have been really funny if you'd had to miss out for Sunstroke today. But there we go. You've done well to be in. We're proud of you.
I heard you were on the roster tonight. I was trying to think of an excuse to phone in sick, and apparently Sunstroke isn't one of them.
$140.
Lovely adjustment across the hockey there from Robin Byrne.
To be honest, I'm surprised we've prized you away from the farm at this time of year.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one when the sun's out. We do enjoy it.
60.
Having these blithering showers is the problem at the minute, but we do need the rain as well.
40.
And there goes the farming forecast from Dorset.
$85.
Robin in control of this third leg. 6 darts at 190 to reduce the gap back down to 2-1. But in a type of position where if she didn't set up the way she did there, Laura was in a position to punish and possibly win 3-0. But should get a dart at the bullseye at the very least upon a return. But how much pressure is it going to be under? Well, it's going to be under plenty of pressure.
$91, Laura.
137. Robin, you require 90. 38. Laura, you require 74.
To seal a second consecutive victory. 41 left.
$54. Robin, you require 52. Game shot on the third leg. Robin Byrne.
Robin Byrne finds herself on the board,
Fourth
takes her
leg,
first
it's Laura
leg
to
of the
throw
night,
first.
and the pair between them have found something amusing.
Game
but
on.
Laura will be hoping to have the last laugh, has the darts in this leg to complete a 3-1 victory.
$100. $43.
And all the time your opponent is kicking off with a ton, it puts massive pressure on your first visit. And here we go again from Turner.
100.
Where he is finding the treble 20 here. Early doors in leg 4.
60.
Byrne goes trebleless again.
$81.
Going about her business proficiently here, Laura. For Robin, she's got better as the game's gone on, but that slow start has cost her
83.
dearly. Maybe you could argue the fact that Laura's had a game on the stage already tonight, that little bit of match sharpness out the gate might well be the decisive factor of this one.
$100.
And she's in a position here to win this match. 120 left after 12. And Robin, in terms of applying
95.
pressure,
Laura,
can't
you
do
require
anything about it.
120.
So this, for 2 wins out of 2 to kickstart her night. Unable to get the treble that she needed.
60.
Hit a 120 in her final at the weekend.
24. Laura, you require 60.
So Turner it is then for 60.
$20. $30. Laura, you require 40.
Robin should have been nowhere near there, and she knows it. And so Turner's back for tops. Robin Byrne's head's in her hands. Double 5. Doesn't want to go inside here.
Game shot and the match.
Straight
Laura
into the double and into the winners enclosure again. Laura Turner 2 from 2 on this opening night in Group B. She's got off to the perfect start. Playing first and playing third. You know you've got to get out the gate quickly. And that is exactly what she's done. She set the tone. She is the pacemaker in this group. 2 wins out of 2. And already she's in a good position. Coming up after the break, it is Trina Gulliver up against Steph Clark. Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series. We've completed 3 matches on the opening night's worth of action in Group B at Women's Week 4. And before the break, Laura Turner got her second win from as many matches, getting the better of Robin Byrne by a 3-1 scoreline. Match number 4 is a meeting between Trina Gulliver and Steph Clark. 2 players looking to get their first wins of the evening. Trina losing out to Laura and the commentators Derby 3-2. Whilst Steph lost out to Gemma Hayter by 3-1 in what's the performance of the evening thus far from Gemma, average in excess of 50% in terms of her doubling. For Steph, she just wasn't quite able to keep up with the scoring prowess of Gemma in that opening contest. Whilst for Trina, I suppose the age-old problem just kind of reared its head again. Scoring in terms of that department, she was better than Laura. But 2 from 10 on the doubles was a plaguing concern.
Yeah, very much was. And that really was the story of the game for Trina. We have to forget.
108.
We easily forget that Laura would have been looking up to Trina while she was getting those 10 world titles and stuff. And
we mentioned it earlier on in the week. Trina is still a prize scalp in this game because of everything she's done and everything she's achieved. And Trina and Steph having a little bit of a giggle. I think there's just a little bit of a technical malfunction on the stage, which has resolved itself, so we can get play back underway. Trina will be hoping to play 7 straight days here. Play the 5 days, qualify for Saturday, because then on Sunday she's going to be playing in the Champion of Champions event where she's got the nice, easy routine tie against a certain Steve Beaton, the bronzed Adonis.
60.
you might be bronzed instead of red by Sunday.
Definitely won't be an Adonis.
54.
I didn't mention the word Adonis, you did. I just said bronzed. There's a fair good chance that redness could turn into a bit of a tan.
22. Steph, you require
Who said Portsmouth's not a palatable holiday option this time of year?
Sunny South Coast, they call it.
Absolutely. We
59.
Found out our football fixtures for the day, for the season ahead today. Me and Laura have had a little bit of banter about that because me and Laura support rivaling teams.
140. Steph, you require 108.
We'll be friends on every day apart from Saturday, September the 13th and Saturday, January 24th.
Oh, well, we just make sure you're in commentary on both those days then after the matches if anybody's got any sense.
Should do a watch-along, shouldn't we? Both in our shirts.
77. Steph, you require
one head in hands, the other one ecstatic. They'll probably now both finish 0-0.
Yeah, fan cam.
Double top for Steph
Shot
Clark.
on the first leg. Steph
And
Clark.
after the slip with dart 1, recovered very well, and she gets the breaker throw-in for Trina Gulliver, a head-scratcher indeed.
Second leg, it's Steph to throw first. Game on.
I just got the sense watching the
134.
Six Nations from a side, watching on, I suppose, more as a spectator than somebody working in the media business. Steph came across to me as somebody that's really grown in terms of confidence, and you could tell that playing in that England shirt really did inspire the best in her.
Yeah, it does with some people. I think
81.
Playing in internationals for some is not their thing. They don't always produce their best, but for some, you see them play better in an England shirt, you know, playing for a €4 medal at the end of the day. Sometimes much better than they play for themselves, with much more determination, because they think like a team player and they play like a team player, and they don't think of their own job as doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the team and not to let the rest of the team down. And sometimes
108.
that kind of works for a player. And there's been many a player that have stood out for England and maybe not so much for themselves when they could have done.
41.
Well, that
Trini
180 for
require
Gulliver's left herself on
151.
151, and 6 starts to instantaneously break back. She's going to need that full quota.
57.
But at the moment, playing beautifully. Average 84. Score is absolutely fine. Yet to have a dart at a double, but that, you sense from this point onwards, will be rectified in this leg.
77. Trini, you require 94. $54. Steph, you require 109.
A couple of darts at tops have gone a begging for Trina. What can Steph make of the 109? This for a 2-0 lead and back the breakup of the previous leg. Can't be done now. Gulliver double top.
43. Trini, you require 40.
Double top. And if this doesn't go, Steph's left in a very handy position to double her lead. But Gulliver
On the second leg.
gets it
Trina
last
Gulliver.
dart in hand. And this game is back level at 1 apiece. It's back on throw.
Third leg, it's Trina to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, first 2 legs are 2 breaks. 1 in 18 for Steph Clark, and
6.
turning the favour was Gulliver in 18.
$140. $60. $100.
Would it be fair to say that both at this moment seem to be more
96.
comfortable against the throw than trying to hold it with it?
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's not as if it's edgy.
59.
You look at the numbers, it doesn't feel like a scrappy, edgy game. But you could understand if you felt it was that way. It's just waiting for somebody
96.
to really grab authority, take the initiative, seize the initiative.
It's like I was saying earlier, neither really want to have their second win on the bounce. You don't, that
98.
second loss on the bounce. And both having lost their previous game, you do see this as an opportunity.
$139.
Well,
Steph, you
maybe
require
this is the moment where
104.
Trina seizes the initiative. Unless Steph Clark has got a 104, she's going to get a double. And that double is going to be double 16. It's
72.
not gotten, so Gulliver
Trini, you require 50.
will get 2 to move 2-1 up, having evaded a dart to be broken again. It's double top. It's
Edge on
2-1
the third
Gulliver.
leg, Trina Gulliver.
It's a strong point of her game in this one. It's getting there is seeming to be
Fourth flag, it's Steph to
the
throw
problem
first.
for her.
Game on.
Don't know about you, Scott, but I just get the feeling with Trina
97.
that we're seeing different facets of her game shine. But when she pieces that jigsaw together, there is a game in there that is going to compete and
140.
compete very highly at the top of the women's game again.
$31.
Yeah, you're not wrong. After all she's been through in the last couple of
140.
years, she would be ecstatic to be back near the top. She's not a million miles away from it, that's for
6.
sure.
She's put in the hard yards, and she's certainly beginning to get the fruits of
81.
that particular labour. I said high up on her priority list is a win at one of the seniors events, and actually when you consider the format on Sunday, it's the
81.
shortest format there ever
Really
has
require
been
140.
for a seniors event, and so playing first on against Steve Beaton, of which we don't know his form at this present moment in time, could actually work out in her favour.
60.
Yeah, those two would have gone way back. I know lots about each other anyway, and that'll be like two old friends popping to the
60.
local to have a game of
Really
darts.
require 80.
Well, Trina's got 6 on this 80. We said somebody had to seize the initiative in this game. Trina Gulliver has done exactly that, but that first dart is very awkward for her. But she manages to
on the
smother her
march,
way
Trina
through
Gulliver.
and get her first points on the board in this Group B. Well, she found something in the middle of the game. Just when it was beginning to look a little bit scrappy, Trina Gulliver will be more than happy with that performance. Average of 84.22, 3 for 9 on her doubles. Stepped it up when she needed to, showing her class and going through the gears. Next up, Gemma Hayter, Robbie Byrne. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne Belze. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne Belze. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Lidlow! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break we saw Trina Gulliver get the better of Steph Clark by 3 legs to 1. Performance of the night from the Golden Girl, average of 84.22, 3 from 9 in terms of a doubling, and stepped it up when it mattered. Next up for us, it is a meeting between Gemma Hayter and Robin Byrne. Now, if we were to have a look at the stats for the last 12 months, it would point in one direction. It would point in the direction of Gemma Hayter. 7 points better off annual average, Gemma, compared to Robin. Better checkout percentage of 6% between the pair. 6 points better off in terms of the first 9 average over the course of the season. However, this is a game which isn't played on paper. It is played between the wires. And this is a game which
30.
You get the sense Robin has to win, even at this early stage of the group, just to keep herself in touch. Gemma's already picked up
55.
a win this evening in her opening game against Steph Clark. In terms of the head-to-heads
95.
between the pair, they've met 3 times in the women's series this season. 2-1 in the favour of Gemma Hayter. The first one was in a semi-final, which Robin would go on to win 5-4. The other 2 coming in earlier rounds, won by Gemma 4-3 at Women's Series 9 of the last 16 and 4-2 in Women's Series 13 in the last 32 stage.
58.
So that would indicate that they've always got legs about them when they play one another.
30. 96.
Now, if you were to look at probabilities, then
60.
over a course of first to 3 legs, my database, which provides a lot of the stats to us here, has given Gemma Hayter a 60% chance of winning compared to the 35.48% of Robin Byrne.
Robin, you require 112.
However, this is a game, as I say,
56.
not played on
Gemma, you
paper.
require 160.
It's a game which is played between the wires.
Or on sizer, if you choose to prefer to call it that.
100. Robin, you require
That's the material
56.
the dartboards are made of for those at home that didn't know what sizer was.
It's double 10. That's drifted
51.
low, and so Gemma has an
you
opportunity.
require
She's
60.
been kind of picking apart these types of chances as the week's gone along. Double top.
20.
Doesn't go.
Robin, you require 5. One. Gemma, you require 40.
4 darts to win this opening leg have come and gone for Robin Byrne, and so
It's
Hayter
on the
returns to
first
double
leg.
top,
Gemma
gets a
Hayter.
double top to take a 1-0 lead. Now, I've just been delving even
Second leg,
further
it's Robin to
into
throw first. Game on.
the head-to-head stats between the pair. Now, the most likely result
99.
in this fixture, based on their numbers, is a 3-1 win for Gemma Hayter, based at a 22.94%. The next most likely result is a 3-2 win for Gemma at 20.34.
60.
Gemma as well this year has been very strong on throw. She's won just under 74%
140.
of the legs in 2025 that she has thrown first in. So 3/4 of the time she throws first in a leg,
59.
she's going to win the leg.
Yeah, some great stats work there.
60.
These are all the things that the bookies are looking up, and maybe that's why they have
81.
Gem at 4-7 on for the group.
That heavier favourite that if you put money on, you're getting less back.
85.
On for the short price punters, it is 18 plus. Gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter this evening.
78.
Hayter looking at 156 to double her lead in this contest. Not to be this time. Robin has left herself on 124.
132. Robin, you require 124. 39. Gemma, you require 24. 18. Robin, you require 85.
Not quite getting there this time. Is it Byrne's chance now to return the favour? And she duly does.
Byrne.
One that she had no right to win, still
Third
did.
leg, it's Gemma to throw first.
Well, the trajectory of Robin Byrne's career the last couple of years has been winning a Women's Series title every single season. Won one in 2023, won one in 2024. And I thought she was that good there that she wasn't even throwing the darts and it went into the board. In terms of this season, has made 3 finals. However, there's been a bit of a problem.
140.
Somebody called Bo Greaves keeps beating her in finals.
56.
Lost 5-1 to Bo in Women's Series 3's final, 5-1 in Women's Series 8. After she beat Gemma Hayter in that semi-final that we spoke about.
125.
Then the third final would be 5-0 to Bo. Having beaten, well, half of the field
44.
in this week. Natalie
Gemma,
Gilbert in the
require
semi, Kirsty
136.
Vinakainen in the quarters, Kirsty Hutchinson in the last 16.
60.
And that's what we're saying about the women's game. It's really coming forward, and there's more
125.
women doing that standard,
Gemma, you
isn't there? And
require
that can only
76.
make it more interesting for the viewers, and means that winning women's game once again gallops forward.
Well, the strength's in depth, isn't it?
Game shot on the third leg.
The likes of Gemma Hayter complementing those that have become established household names. And I think it is sometimes
Robin to throw first.
easy to forget that she's only been back in the game the best part of 14 months. Such has been a meteoric rise. A lot of good things have come very quickly. And I think it's also quite difficult to believe that her appearance in Blackpool next month for the World Match Play will be her first appearance there.
Yeah, absolutely. And what an experience that will be as well for her.
42.
It's only around 18 months ago now that she came back with a bang, and really has been a threat within the ladies series week in, week out.
Well, if these two are to play at the
100.
match play, they are going to have to get to the final because these two are in different halves of the draw.
40.
Robin wins her first round game against Lisa Ashton. It's a meeting with either Bo Greaves or Kirsty Vinakainen in the semi-finals.
100.
Gemma Hayter gets past her blue time against Fallon Sherrick. Either Lorraine Winstanley or Noeline van Leuven await in the final for that competition. That 180 there for Gemma.
57.
The first of this match, her second of the night, and puts herself in a very good position to win this game 3-1.
Yeah, very much so. And
50.
that hasn't quite helped the situation.
78. Gemma, you
Byrne,
require 129.
3 trebles there, right across the top, but only one of significance.
57.
18 there would
Robin,
have
you require
left double
106.
18 for Hayter, but Byrne back for the 106. Treble 18 is her shot. Double 16 now.
90.
Just
Gemma,
pushed
you
it
require
inside.
72.
And so Hayter to seal the victory, looking at 72. It's going to be a match start at double top. Tops it is. Tops he's got. And Gemma Hayter is 2 out of 2. For Robin Byrne, it's the worst possible start to the night. A defeat to Laura Turner coupled up with a loss to Gemma Hayter. At times, it was a really good performance from Gemma. She discusses the game with Jack Garwood, but she'll be happy with the fact that herself and Laura Turner are both on 4 points following the first couple of games apiece. And it is Laura we'll see next against Steph Clark.
$54. Charlie Maguire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
jockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
required
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
Got
done.
in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
To secure her first Super Series win.
Again, over to the right side. This is a Stephen Bolton area of the board. What a dart from Bo Breeze.
A shot and the Modus Super Series Week 9 champion, Bo Breeze!
It's history for Bo Breeze. One of the most requested players at the Super Series is back. Bo Greaves is in action in Group B. And Bo will be hoping to throw some golden arrows and looking for a second weekly title. And she's got history of a Champions Week as well. On the subject of Champions Weeks, the former champion, the first ever champion, Conan Whitehead in Group A, as to the former runner-up, Jimmy Van Schie, which means that next Saturday is going to be anything but quiet if he qualifies. Daryl Fitton is in Group B. Always great to see the Dazzler here. Jamie Durrant is in action in Group B. And Glenn's with him in the commentary box. That could be an interesting affair. Group C sees Aaron Turner, Stephen Plumstead and James Richardson in action. We get underway Monday morning from 9:30 in the morning for that. Right, back to tonight's action. And we're at the halfway stage of proceedings in Group B. And a good night so far for both Laura Turner and Gemma Hayter. Both winning their opening 2 matches of the night. Laura getting her campaign underway, wins against Trina Gulliver and Robin Byrne, whilst for Gemma Hayter, 3-1 successes against Steph Clark and Robin Byrne respectively. So them two at the top of the pile. Trina Gulliver, the other player to get a win this evening and put in a really good performance against Steph Clark to get it. So both Steph and Robin both have had a point to their name so far. And it is Steph Clark who we're going to see up next as she takes on Laura Turner in Game 6 of the night session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The second of 2 sessions that we brought to you live here on Pluto TV on this Thursday night. Laura was in the commentary box this afternoon doing a good job, and on the hockey doing a good job this evening. For Steph Clark, she put 10 points on her average from Game 1 to Game 2. However, both players that she's come up against this evening have averaged in excess of 80. So there's a feeling that she's not playing poorly, but her opponents are finding just something tangibly more.
Yeah, beautifully put, Henry. I think you're absolutely right.
First leg, it's Laura to throw
we said
first.
It was going to be a really good group at the top of the show, and that's kind of turning out the way it's going to be. Laura will be over the moon with her 2 wins up to now, but
85.
she'd like to get another one here this evening, if not another 2, and that would actually see her through. But obviously everybody she plays will now be
140.
doing their best to topple her off the top of the group. And this is another one of those strange scenarios where 4 days ago these guys were teammates side by side battling it out for the Six Nations
6
Cup for the ladies, and now find themselves 4 days later battling against one another here
100
in Women's Week 4, Group B, Day 1.
How quickly things could change in a darting landscape.
100.
In a couple of months' time, they'll be then jetting off to South Korea for the WDF World Cup, and we're playing
96
together again as part of a team.
Do you know if there's any commentary jobs going for that one, Scott? Because South Korea sounds a very nice prospect.
Indeed, it probably would be for, I don't know whether they'd understand you out there, Henry.
60.
Yeah, most of the guys in this building don't understand you.
No, that's can't stand me.
Oh, is that what it is?
133.
Well, that's an excellent setup from Steph, leaving herself on 32 after 12, looking to get the instant break against Laura Turner.
85. Steffi required 32.
So double 16. Potential 5. Is it leg here? 14
It's on
darted
the
to
first
start.
leg, Steph Clark.
Some statement made from the Swan, who, as he mentioned, was
Second
on the
leg, it's
wrong
Steph to
end
throw
of a
first.
couple of decent
Game on.
performances, now looking to inflict one herself.
$140.
I have to say, I know Steph's from Shrewsbury. I remember back in the day I went on a 3-legged pub crawl around Shrewsbury where you were strapped to another person
41.
and off you went and had a Had a pint in each of 8 pubs back in the day. That's all I know about Shrewsbury, really.
84.
Young farmers, can't beat it.
Now, this is the subject of one of my favourite football facts of all time. Shrewsbury Town were the last ever Football League club to win the Welsh Cup.
46.
Were they?
Indeed they were. They, I believe, qualified for the Cup Winners' Cup as a result of it. I think it was
55.
either the late 80s or the early 90s. And basically, because of it, they just abolished the rule that professional clubs playing in England couldn't play in that competition anymore.
Ah, very interesting. That was one of the places we did actually stop on our 3-legged pub crawl. We stopped at the ground and went into the social club and had one in there. That was one of the. You had a route. You had a route.
50.
And off you went, strapped to a person from another club. So everybody got to know one another. It was very good.
Actually hosted European football this year, did Shrewsbury Town's ground, because the New Saints, TNS, qualified for the group stages of the Conference League.
45.
But because their ground didn't meet the UEFA criterion to host group stage matches in that competition, they needed to find another home ground, and so Shrewsbury's ground was the place they called up. Now, this so far has been really good from Steph Clark. 14 darter leg 1, leaving double 16 after 5 visits in leg 2. Average right now, touching the ton mark.
41.
Tell you what, she should play for England, this girl.
32.
Turner's powerless to do anything about this. Double 8.
16.
Doesn't go, but she has got time to her side.
Turner's powerless to do anything about this. You know that was her previous name, don't you? She was Laura Power before Marion Aaron.
$85.
A
Steffi
really
requires
cheesy
16.
line you used there, Henry. Very nice, but yeah.
And I promise you, absolutely unintentional.
the
But that
second leg,
absolutely was
Steph Clark.
intentional from Steph Clark to open up a 2-0 lead.
Third leg, it's Laura to throw first.
Laura
Game
throwing now to stay in this match, having won each of her opening 2 games of this evening session. She hasn't really put much of a foot wrong. It's been all about what Steph Clark has done right so far, but that maximum start may just give her a little bit of wriggle room in this leg.
60.
Now, would you like tonight's tungsten teaser, Scott?
45.
Have I got any choice? No, I'd love to know the tungsten teaser.
Right, it's a little bit of a quirky one tonight. Steph Clark is nicknamed the Swan.
99.
In the infamous song The 12 Days of Christmas, how many swans are swimming?
It's June. Why are we talking about Christmas carols in June?
45.
There's a tungsten teaser. How many swans went missing in Hot Fuzz? There was a tungsten teaser.
100.
How many did get lost?
I don't know. Swan 1.
Back to the darts.
100.
Am I right in saying the King owns all the swans in the country?
Yes, he does now. The Queen used to. That is absolutely true.
60.
Every swan in the country is owned by
131.
the King and protected by the King.
Oh, Laura Turner looking to get herself back into this contest. The 1-3-1 would be some way to go about it. Really would be some way to go about it. And it's going to be double 16.
99.
Maybe that slight pause just disrupted the rhythm a little bit there.
Well, she's been here all day with somebody telling her where to go in her ear, so
Laurie requires
must be weird up
32.
there without the headphones on.
2 16s to bring it back to 2-1. Well, this
shot on the
has
third
been
leg.
a
Laura
really
Turner.
good game so far. Steph Clark winning her legs in 14 and 19. Laura Turner winning her leg
Fourth leg.
in
It's Steph to throw
16.
first.
Been the game of the night
Game on.
so far. Steph Clark putting in the performance of the night so far. But can she put the seal on it here? She has the darts in her hand to seal a 3-1 success, which would get her first win
100.
of Women's Week 4.
I'm sure there's a few of the Laura Turner fans watching at home.
45.
Mama Sue will probably be watching. She'd have done her horses by now. It's too late now. Got a couple of horses as Laura's mum. Tara will be watching as well. And obviously brother-in-law. Mike, you should be. You should still be up, Mike, watching.
Mike Gillette, the best the man can get.
And I'm sure Aaron's watching somewhere as well.
One of the nicest men in darts is Mike Gillett.
With the smallest flight you've ever
81.
seen on a dart in your life.
They're normal sized in my hands.
No, they're just wrong. But they work for him. He's amazing with them.
Great player is Mike.
Like you say, a top person first and foremost. Really nice guy who happens to throw darts really well.
140.
140 there for Steph Clark. Puts her on the cusp of victory. 120 points away. Really good performance. Average of 88, 2 from 6 in terms of the
66.
doubling. This has been
Steph, you
really
require
useful
120.
for a player that we know is improving all the time. Improving in confidence, improving in ability, and may well get a big result thanks to a big finish. The
shot, and the
120
match,
goes.
Steph Clark.
The Swan climbs the ladder to success. A 3-1 victory seals Steph Clark's first win of the night. And what a performance it was to seal it. An average of 89.62, 3 from 7 on her doubles. Finished off with the 120, the first time plus checkout of the night. She beats Laura Turner 3-1. Gulliver Hayter's next. Welcome back to the Modus Super Seeds. Before the break, Steph Clark put in the performance of the night to get her first win of the night. A 3-1 success against Laura Turner, who had her first defeat of the evening inflicted upon her. Match number 7 is a meeting between two players who've already met in Group A this week, as Trina Gulliver and Gemma Hayter go head-to-head. Gemma top of the table because of that hefty defeat for Laura Turner before the break, winning both of her matches, plus 4 legs difference. As for Trina, 1 win, 1 defeat so far this evening. Had darts to beat Laura Turner in the opening match of the night. Was unable to get them. Laura would win 3-2. Then she put in a really good performance against Steph Clark. Average of 84.22. Doubling really well as well. 1 in 3, 3 from 9.
Game on.
As for Gemma, got out the gate quick. 3-1 win against Steph Clark. Herself averaging over 80 against the Swan. And then we'll get the better of Robin Byrne by the same scoreline in her second game of the evening.
140.
Now, these two have been embroiled in some battles this week, particularly on Tuesday. A game which would go all the way to a last leg decider for Gemma Hayter.
125.
Found some real brilliance towards the end. 180 to leave herself handy, then a clean kill on a 2-darter meant that she really took the game from the grasp of Gulliver.
60. $92. $100.
I think this has the potential, Scott,
6.
to be the game of the night. Both players show up to the way that we've seen them do so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and both are playing at that level, and their pace suits one another as well. It allows them to get in and throw when they want to throw, and
54.
it really
Trina, you
does
require
sort of
101.
bode that it suits them both well, doesn't it? The pace of the game.
Gemma 19, trouble 15 for double 18.
83. Gemma, you require 170.
Is Gemma going to treat us to the big fish? Not this time.
100. Trina, you require
Leave herself
18.
handy. If Gulliver can't mop up this double 9. Easier said than done.
Game shot on the
Easily
first leg.
converted.
Trina
1-0
Gulliver.
to the Golden Girl.
Second leg, it's Gemma to throw first. Game on. $60. $41.
Straight one there from Trina. Something you don't see too many of from
100.
Gemma Hayter.
$60.
This, incredibly, is the 11th meeting between these two in 2025. Prior to this week, the 7 meetings before, which includes
81.
meetings in Women's Weeks 2 and 3, it was 6-1 in favour of Gemma Hayter, the solitary win for Trina 3-0 in Women's Week 2. That's actually the only place they have met this
59.
year. They did meet in the Women's Series in 2024. Gemma would win that by 4 legs to 2. In terms of their head-to-head with one another this week, it is also 3-0 in the favour of Gemma Hayter, winning all 3 of the matches between the pair by 3-2 scorelines. So it's been very competitive every game between the pair, but Gemma seemingly always just have that something extra.
Yeah, Trina took the first leg here in 16, and she's going to have to stay in that
35.
region, you feel, to trouble Gemma over the course of this match.
45. Gemma, you require 125.
125 for Hayter. Bullseye first. The 25 leaves a ton. All about setting up from this point onwards.
65.
Which is probably why she played safe for the third dart, because there was a possibility if she chased the treble there, she could catch and have a bounce out.
Yeah, with Trina back on 236.
65. Gemma, you require 60. $40.
Oh, cut the other dart on the way in, did that third dart. Leaves Hayter with 20, but Trina back on 171. She would love a 131 here to pressure the shot.
97. Gemma, you require
2
20.
tens to square the match up at one apiece. If it doesn't go, Gulliver is left-handedly poised, but that's a decent guide.
Game shot on the second
Utilises
leg.
it
Gemma
perfectly,
Hayter.
and we are back on level terms.
Third leg, it's Trina to throw first. Game on.
Now into a best-of-3 shootout.
$100. $40. $49. $45.
Hayter here struggling to find a significant double to stay in touch with Gulliver, and you feel if Gulliver can find a couple treble visit here, she will gap herself
100.
from Hayter in this leg.
Well, Gemma will get a feeling she could win this game. She almost feels like she's broken the back of the group.
125.
6 points to her name, and her last match is against Laura Turner, so she could complete the card. She'll feel like she's in a position where one win definitely guarantees herself through tomorrow night, but 8 points might
40.
already be enough, although what she won't want to do is play safe and protect tomorrow night if that was to be the case.
No, definitely worst case scenario that. You don't want to be protecting anything. You want to be
6.
going up there and thinking about winning games and winning games only.
Well, Gulliver 6 starts on 2-12 to move 2-1 ahead in this particular contest.
80.
That's mightily unlucky. Group in the darts, so much better this week is Trina.
$45. Trina, you require 132.
She's got the luxury of time to move herself 2-1 to the good.
We're 6 darts from here. Can't finish from there. I'm making a bit of a pick zero this.
28.
Head scratching indeed. But if there has been a player this week that's been up to the task of ton plus finishes, it has been Trina Gulliver. Yesterday was a golden day
150.
in that particular department
Trina, you
for her.
require
3 ton plus
104.
checkouts, including a 104. But that slip into the single 5 means that she leaves herself on 99.
27.
Well, that
Trina, you
can't be
require
done, but
36.
can the 36 be got? On the inside, and so
28.
Gulliver's back
Trina,
with a
you
gilt-edged
require
chance.
77.
She is indeed one that 6 darts ago didn't look an option.
$57. Gemma, you require 8.
Double 4, a double which in this building will always hold good memories of Gemma Hayter. It was a double
No
that she
score.
won her tour championship
Trina,
on,
you
but she can't
require
find it to win this
20.
third leg. And so opportunity presents itself to Trina Gulliver once more. 2 tens for a 2-1 lead.
Game
2
shot on
tens
the
got.
third leg. Trina
And
Gulliver.
everything that we said about Gemma Hayter possibly having the perfect night could actually fall into reverse because she loses this one. She's got
Fourth
all in the
leg.
last.
It's Gemma to throw
Because
first.
positive a start that she's
Game
made.
on.
The thing with this Group B is things can very quickly change over the course of a night.
Yeah, the disappointing for
6.
Gemma there is lost that one in 25 darts. Well, the one she won was only in 23, so
39.
maybe the pace isn't as comfortable for her as I first thought.
$100.
Well, we're playing late into the night here on Pluto TV. And there's plenty else happening once the darts finishes. We have the dart swap challenge as soon as we go off air. And
100.
at around about 2 o'clock, we've got a tungsten talk with Glenn Dunn, which is going to be the perfect material to ease you into your night's kip.
Easy way indeed.
$45.
Hi, Glenn, if you are watching.
100.
Can Gulliver here make inroads? Needed a double treble visit
59. Gemma, you require 141.
to get in the same street as Hayter. 141 for her. Oh, horrible bounce out that one was.
40.
Couple of trebles here for Gulliver, and this leg has a different complexion to it.
140. Gemma, you require 101.
Stay there. Treble would have given her a dart at double 18.
45.
Well, Gulliver
Trini, you
hasn't really
require
had Gemma's number in
118.
meetings this year, but could have her number here if she finds the 118. Double top
78.
to have won it
Gemma,
in
you
some
require
sumptuous
56.
style.
Game shot on the fourth
Nicely
leg.
finished there by
Hayter.
Gemma Hayter. We go all the way. You were looking at the stats
Fifth
at
and
the start of the
final
match,
leg.
and
It's
everything
Trina to
about
throw
this game
first.
said
Game
it
on.
had legs in it. And that's what certainly has happened. We go down to the final leg. Fifth and final deciding leg it is.
100.
And in the second decider tonight, actually stopped a trend of 5 consecutive games going 3-1 in score one way or t'other.
85.
Of course, unlike the World Match Play format next month, which will be win by 2 clear legs, just the 1 leg shootout to decide things.
108.
See for Hayter, and what a world time, Max. And is she doing it again to Trina Gulliver? Every single one of these meetings this week between this pair have
90,
gone 3-2,
sir.
and they've gone 3-2 in the favour of Gemma Hayter. Well, they say that history gives us a guide as to how the present's going to play out. And is that the case in the meeting between this pair?
140.
Because Gemma Hayter's on the cusp of a 4th consecutive 3-2 win against the Golden Girl.
Yeah, 96
41.
after 9. Not
Gemma,
too
you
shabby at
require
all from
96.
Hayter.
Got a beautiful guide for the treble there. Able to utilise it.
56.
But what she is going to do is leave herself on tops after 12 against the throw in the last leg.
$37. Gemma, you require
Took a while to
40.
work all that out and then missed a desired target.
And so it's 2-10 to Hayter.
Game
For a
shot and the
4th
match.
consecutive
Gemma
3-2 victory this week over Trina Gulliver. It's a head-to-head which has, well, been dominated in terms of wins for Gemma Hayter, but neither of the matches between these two have been dominant. In fact, she had to come back from behind in that game, did Gemma, to seal the points and to put herself on a maximum toll. Coming up after the break, Steph Clark takes on Robin Byrne, plus the answer to the tungsten teaser. Welcome back to Pluto TV and the Modus Super Series. Now, if you're a bit of a night owl, there's plenty to keep you entertained across Pluto TV. You've got the Glenn Durrant Tungsten Talk. I did say the word entertained, actually, didn't I? And then we've got the best of Bradley Brooks, Bam Bam. He had a good year here last year, didn't he? And then went on to bigger things in the PDC. The best of Richie Burnett. Now, that's something that you cannot miss. And then if you're
First leg, it's Steph to throw first.
having to get up early for work and you need to find something to put on, maybe whilst having some cereal in the morning, why don't you join Scott Mitchell on the farm? Because
43.
that will be available for you early in the morning here on Pluto TV. Now, Game 8 is a meeting between Steph Clark and Robin Byrne.
43.
These two, the bottom two players in the table. Steph picking up her first win last time out with the performance of the night against Laura Turner. As for Robin Byrne,
60.
the only player now in this group yet to pick up a victory. Which perhaps is a surprise when you consider it in terms of the women's series order. She's the highest placed player this week.
$108.
There goes Steph with another 180. That
is her third of the evening.
56. 94. 83. Steph, you require 124.
So Steph first poke at the 1, 2, 4. Didn't have to go for the bullseye. She found the treble with dart 2 there. We'll come back 66 in hand to take out the opening leg. Robin a long way back.
Yeah, it's just force of habit to go that way for Steph Clark.
requires
It's the
66.
routine way that you usually go, and
26.
didn't want to do anything silly with the last dart. Steph Clark just
6.
pokes it in the region
Steph, you
of,
require
so nothing
40.
silly would happen. So now she's got to have a good look at it.
No score. Robin, you require 120.
That was unfortunate. Well thrown dart didn't go to the desired target.
80.
Byrne tidies
Steph, you
up nicely
require
there
40.
after that one from her visit. First one being a 1 meant she couldn't get out.
20.
Well, that
Robin,
drops
you
low.
require
And for
40.
Robin, this was a leg that she was a long way behind in.
Game shot on the
It's a
first
break
leg.
of throw, and
Robin
it's a
Byrne.
real steal. And she takes the opening leg of the match and looking, of course,
Second
for
leg,
that
it's Robin to
elusive
throw
first win
first.
of the evening.
Game on.
Yeah, Byrne does a bit of Robin there, doesn't she?
56.
You've been waiting to say that all night, haven't you?
I have indeed, yes.
Now then,
99.
Scott, I suppose I better put you and all of our viewers out of your misery,
98.
because it is time. It is time to answer the tungsten teaser.
59.
Now, the question was, Steph Clark is nicknamed the Swan. In the song The 12 Days of Christmas,
119.
how many swans were swimming? The answer, 7. 7 swans were swimming
100.
in that particular song. If you want the full
140.
you had 7 swans swimming, 6 geese a laying, you had 5 gold rings, or in the panto that we had, it was
43.
5 toilet rolls.
Robin, you require 88.
Didn't have to chase the bullseye
56.
with Steph not on a finish. And having taken the first leg, Robin, against the throw and against the run of play, she's really dominated this
60.
second one.
Robin, you
And is
require
on the cusp of a
32.
2-0 lead. Turning negatives
shot on the
into
second leg.
positives.
Robin Byrne.
This is a really useful display.
Yeah, and the quicker you get off the mark,
Third
the quicker
leg,
to
it's
start,
Steph to throw
you
first.
start finding your
Game on.
flow and your confidence. And I'm wondering whether Robin
55.
travelled over today and whether there can be a bit of fatigue here in Group B when you do that.
Well, I know Shane
59.
McGurk does something similar, doesn't he? He travels in the morning and then sleeps in the afternoon ahead of his stint in a Group B, and it's in 2025 worked to some success for him.
60.
Yeah, it sure has.
58.
Yeah, just to finish off that particular song, it was 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 gold rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hen, 2 turtle doves,
60.
and a partridge in a crab tree.
$140.
Cam, if you're watching, I hope you're well, pal.
I think you're going to walk into a fist when he next sees
80.
you.
It'd be front of a very long queue if that's the case.
58.
Doesn't sound like a hymn. It sounds like a bird sanctuary. That's what that song sounds like. Nothing to do with Christmas.
58.
Also, if you see a crab in a tree, then I would recommend phoning a vet.
77.
Yeah, I think if I saw a crab in a tree, I would wonder how it got up there. Unless
40.
the tree was on the
Robin,
beach,
you
of
require
course.
109.
Well, luckily for us, Robin Byrne's on a finish, so we can finish this conversation right now, and it's a finish that's still on.
$27. Steph, you require 148.
148 for Steph Clark to continue the game. Not to be, and so Robin is back for a match-winning opportunity at 82.
42. Robin, you require 82.
For a 3-0 win, and to get her first one of the night, and this would end Steph Clark's night with just 2 points to her name.
42. Steph, you require 106.
Could well be the last 3 darts that Steph throws tonight. Joel 17 ball. Not to be. And so Robin is back for tops.
74. Robin, you require 40.
To get her first win on the board. She's been waiting all night for it. But eventually she gets it. And she gets it for 3-0 success against Steph Clark, of which it was a night of ups and downs for. It's only 2 points for her following the first day's play. Robin Byrne still has 1 more game to go. Final matches of the night for Gemma Hayter and Laura Turner, the top 2 after the break. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne. Time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Byrne. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison!
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor!
Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Robin Byrne got the better of Steph Clark by 3-0 to register her first win on the board. And it means that Steph Clark is going to finish the night at the bottom of the Group B table. Our 9th game is a meeting between Laura Turner and Gemma Hayter. The top two in this group going head-to-head. For Gemma, an opportunity to complete the card on the opening night's worth of play. And when you look at the predicament of the standings of
First
the table,
leg, it's Gemma to throw first.
yeah, put her in an almost unassailable position.
on.
Now, because of the fact that everybody's picked up points, 10 will be enough to get you through to Saturday night. She wins this one, she'll be a winner that, but realistically you would think it would take
100.
a minor miracle for her not to qualify, particularly when you add in her leg difference in comparison to the rest of the field as well. But if Laura Turner could win this game, then both her and Gemma would be on 6. And then it means the final game of the night between
85.
Robin Byrne and Trina Gulliver would be to see who will be in the final qualification position going into tomorrow's play.
40.
Scott Mitchell has still not spoke to me since the partridge in a crab tree reference.
Indeed. I'm just thinking what Cammy's going to do to you when he sees you, really.
Just don't tell him that I said it.
No, he goes to bed early. He won't have seen it.
And luckily, we're not on a form that anybody would be able to tell him or show him.
No, not at all.
60.
Not at all.
What have you made of tonight, Scotty?
Well, we thought it might be a little bit even Steven at the start, and these two ladies sort of had a really good start to tonight's proceedings, and then
41.
I think if Laura turns Gemma over here, then that means those two are pretty close to seeing
45.
themselves through. Both will be on 6 points. Maiden would be 1 from 3 to come through, but if Gemma wins, then that sucks Turner back down into the fight
100.
for those 3 spots. Or
81.
Well, this is a really useful start here for Laura. Overturning the thrower, Gemma.
135.
And that 135 leaves herself on tops to get an early break and to seize the early initiative.
yeah, one of those moments where the
41.
double treble
Laurie
visit came at the
require
right
40.
time for Turner.
Game shot on the
And
first
nicely
leg.
done
Laura
by
Turner.
Laura. And that gives you a bit of confidence. One double.
Second leg, it's Laura to throw first.
Break a throw
Game on.
in her favour. So the mindset now is go and hold your throw. Go and hold your throw now. And see what Gemma has for you.
100.
Now, if Rod Harrington was sat in this seat, he would say 2 things. Darts is all about timing. Laura Turner, tick. He'd also say a break
140.
isn't a break without a hold. Can Laura Turner tick that off of the list of lessons learnt for the Rod Harrington School of Darts?
Yeah, and you have to say it's a very valid point all the way around.
He'd also say don't miss the big number.
62.
Twice.
Probably one of the best to have ever sat in one of these
60.
commentary seats was Rod. I'm sure he's very much enjoying his retirement out in a nice Spanish villa, though, at this present moment in time, I'm sure.
Why on earth would you not be?
Although Portsmouth is just as nice at this time of year.
Yeah, I'm not going
40.
to dispute that. Each to their own.
Gets you a tan nonetheless.
$140. 100. Gemma, you require 161.
So Hayter 6 starts here from 161 to break back, and all the gains that Laura made in the opening leg could be evaporated within the space of 5 or 6
51.
visits.
$43. Gemma, you require 110.
Treble 18 from here. Treble 12. Strays into
65.
the treble 9.
Laura, you require
But
156.
with Turner back on 156, it is a shot. But you needed the 2 trebles to get yourself a dart at it.
60. Gemma, you require
So
45.
Hayter looking at 45 to square this game back up at 1 apiece. Well, the treble 13 leaves double 3. Goes above, and Laura here,
No score.
96.
Laura, you
for
require
2-0.
96.
Well, this would hurt Gemma. This would be a real pinch.
$23. Gemma, you require 45.
So Hayter back for 45. Back we go again. It's the treble 13 again.
$42. Laura, you require
Well, we
73.
maybe can see the funny sides, and Gemma on the outside is showing the funny side of it, but inside she'll be raging, particularly if Turner can take this out.
Yeah, very much so. If she stays straight here, hits the big numbers, and back yourself at the double.
Game shot on the
And
second
that's
leg.
exactly
Laura
what she's
Turner.
done. Takes a 2-0 lead. A little hand up there towards Gemma as if to
Third
say,
leg,
sorry
it's
about
Gemma
that,
to
mate.
throw first. Game on.
Well, a win for Laura
55.
here would mean that both of these players would be on 6 points overnight. And it would mean that Trina and Robin would have an opportunity in the final game of the evening to finish on 4 and finish just a couple off the top 2. They would have a guaranteed
41.
4-point gap. The pair of Laura does win this one from 4 position. Whoever loses the game between Trina and Robin, and then Steph Clark on 2 points -5, and because of that
60.
inferior legs difference, no matter what happens in the final game of the evening, she's going to find herself to the foot of the table.
$64. $140.
Of course, Laura's made a final here in the past, and if she does win, she'll become the 3rd commentator to win a week here. Chris Mason led the way. Then Devon
26.
Peterson won a week. And the ADC Global Championship. Funny enough, we've not seen Chris Mason since Devon's done that.
108.
As Gemma piles in a max to leave herself on 66.
Yeah, really good time in there from Hayter to hit the 180. Just assert yourself on your own leg. And you're going to have to try and break Laura.
100.
Next leg.
Gemma, you require 66.
So Hayter looking at 66 and plenty of time to get that first leg on the board, but she had plenty of time in the previous leg and it was because of a mishap to leave herself double free where things went wrong. That's exactly what's happening again here.
60.
Well, she's had plenty of practice on that target.
With Turner on 270, I'd have just absolutely blew that out the border. Wouldn't have entertained it. Started again.
85. Gemma, you require 6.
She's almost tried to
It's
hold
on the
in a
third
laugh
leg.
there when
Gemma
she went
Hayter.
for that double free. Gets it with the first dart. Back to
Full
2-1,
flag.
and
It's
Turner
Laura
has
to
the
throw
darts to
first.
win it.
Game on.
Yeah, a lot braver than me to go straight for the double six, but that is a sign of where her confidence is in her game right now.
$100.
Turner with the darts to get it done and to get it won.
140.
Hayter's just beginning to rally back here.
She is indeed. A bit of momentum's coming with it. She does know it's now or never.
100.
Oh, Turner making herself very difficult to beat. What an intriguing matchup.
Well, you see from the checkout success there. Gemma 1 from 5. A lot of them darts have been a double free at this contest, including the one that was hit. Laura 2 from 2 when she's had opportunities at the outer ring.
$140.
And looks like, Scott, she's closing in.
Oh, this could do some damage.
125. Laurie require 161.
161. She'll be hoping for 6. May get it done in 3. Could get it done in 3. Just underneath over the treble 17.
97. Gemma, you require 136.
Still handily placed. Or is she? Or is she?
120.
On the wire.
Laurie requires 64.
Really did scare that. To finish on 6 points and to ensure a tie at the top of the table. Might just be the only opportunity Laura Turner gets. It's double top.
Game shot.
Tops
and
he's
the match.
got, and Laura Turner is going to finish with 6 points. These two are going to be at the top of the table with 6 points to each other's names as they go into Friday's action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Well, Gemma was denied the chance of completing the card, and now it's actually Laura Turner who's top of proceedings going into Friday's play, courtesy of that 3-1 win against Hayter. Byrne and Gulliver ends the night's action after the break.
$54. Charlie require 164. $44. $32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie,
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
it.
done.
Got out the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Laura Turner went to the top of the table overnight, courtesy of a 3-1 victory against Gemma Hayter. The final game of Thursday sees Trina Gulliver and Robin Byrne go head-to-head. For the winner of this one, they'll move on to 4 points, and they'll move into third position going into Friday's action here on the South Coast. On the sunny South Coast.
First leg, it's Robin to throw first. Game on.
But as we head past 12:30 on what is now Friday morning, happy Friday, everybody. Who is going to claim the final spoils of the day?
96.
Form would suggest Trina Gulliver, but there was an upturn in performance
32.
last time out from Robin Byrne.
$108.
Well, that's her first 180 of the evening. That means all our ladies have hit a 180 here in Group B on
45.
day one.
We felt on paper this would be a very evenly matched group, and it's certainly
43.
been the case. In fact, throughout the duration of the evening, there's only been one 3-0 scoreline. That was Robin's success over Steph Clark that we mentioned a couple of moments ago.
39.
In matter of fact, she could make it 4 legs on the spin if she takes this one.
$82.
And she's in a very good position to do so. Even a maximum is not really going to do any damage.
62. Robin, you require 100.
Job 15 would have given her a dart at tots. She's going to
48.
set herself up to leave herself on 52 upon her return.
140. Robin, you require 52. $12.
She will return back at the 40 with Gulliver back on 183.
$99. Robin, you require
On the
40.
same street.
Game shot on the first leg. Robin
Too
Byrne.
late to the party though for Gulliver on that occasion. It's 1-0. Robin Byrne.
Well, how many
Second
times do you see
leg,
it where a
it's Trina
player
to
has
throw
so much
first.
time and space in a
Game
leg
on.
that they toil around a little bit, and as soon as they realise if I miss this, I lose the leg, they hit it with the first dart.
60.
What they call Sod's Law, and around these parts, Murphy's Law.
Indeed.
60.
I like what you did there. I
125.
like what Gulliver did there. Nice double treble visit.
55.
Well, she's had the long shift tonight. Played in the opener against Laura Turner. Playing in the final game tonight. And she'll have to do exactly the same on Friday.
99.
Does take its toll.
59.
Don't forget that we'll be back tomorrow from 1 o'clock. The co-commentator alongside Chris Murphy is the player at the top of Group B, Laura Turner.
42.
Always said we should bring guest players into commentary, Scott.
58.
Well, I'm pleased you think that way, Henry.
Well, I'm just thinking we could have a couple of afternoons off then, can't we?
Yeah, yeah.
You can look after the farm, I'll top up the town, the world's a
30.
good one.
Job's a good one, yeah, absolutely.
$59. Trina, you require
Going
145.
across to the right-hand side of the hockey to try and get in there with another treble.
$90. $60. Trina, you require 55.
Top Satrina.
$35.
Doesn't go, and so
Robin, you
Robin here
require
looking at 150 to double a lead to 2-0. Not to be, and so Gulliver will get 3 more
98.
to
Trina, you
square
require
this contest
20.
up. 2 10s.
I think she thought that was in. You can't get any closer than that other than being in. Not right in the number 10 tree. They're in between the wires.
15. Robin, you require 52.
That was pulled low, and dare I say it, that felt like a little bit of a tired dart from Trina. And Byrne can pick all the pieces up as she can find
32.
double 10, but unable
Trina,
to
you
find.
require 5.
And so Gulliver's reprieve, but you get the sense she cannot miss any more opportunities.
Yeah, this one dart, last dart in hand, has to go.
Game shot in the second
Julie
leg.
does.
Trina Gulliver.
Took a little bit more time, concentrated, and hits the double she
Third
desired.
leg, it's Robin to throw first. Game on.
And I think that's a better dart than what a lot of people will give credit for. Mentioned before, there was just maybe the odd tired dart at a double here, and I just get the sense that for Trina, it's just going to be a case of what she's got left in the tank. She's just going to have to empty here.
27. $45.
It's a little bit like both know the importance of this one, and the arm's gone a little bit tight.
59.
But the winner of this one knows that they've got a tangible lead. In fact, if someone can do the double in this
44.
particular set of matches, they know they're in a very handy position to qualify, because this is the first game tomorrow night. So they'll know by the time they get to game 2 that they'd have a 4-point lead from 4th and 5th in the table respectively. And particularly if you're Robin Byrne, you could do the double, because you then take on Steph Clark in the game after that. And if you do that sort of damage, then it's pretty much job done. Job's a good one.
44.
Still struggling towards the line, aren't they? The importance of the game.
$60.
both players will be feeling in the back of their mind. Just try and grab this by the scruff of the neck.
44.
As I say, time of the morning, 4th game of the night. It's an easier said thing than done.
115.
Because your body's telling you things, your mind's telling you things, and then you're trying to concentrate on the game at hand at the same time.
42. Trina, you require 140.
Yeah, that can happen as well in the hour of that we are playing this game.
43.
Gulliver's left herself on 97. What can Byrne do by way of a response?
43. Trina, you require 97.
She went the 18s route but failed to hit the big single at the minimum requirement. So it's all about Gulliver now. 97.
$57.
Tops left for the break and a 2-1 lead. It will put her to within 1 a victory in this match.
116.
Gonna have to get it.
Trina, you require 40. Game shot on the third leg.
Julie
Trina
does,
Gulliver.
and she'd worked hard to get that opportunity.
4th leg,
break
it's Trina
found.
to throw first.
And Trina
Game
now
on.
with the darts in her hand to complete a 3-1 win, which will put her on to 4 points.
140.
Good start. Really good start.
$100.
And then in quick succession, Byrne follows in with a ton of her own.
41.
I think Trina will look back at it and think there's been some good performances tonight, particularly the game against Steph Clark. Maybe at points it's been a little bit in and out. But if she can come out of this with 4 points, I think that she will look at plenty of positives from the evening.
27.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same for both ladies. I think if they could manage one here, it would leave them less work to do tomorrow.
131.
Huge score, huge time for Robin Byrne. Threatening the break to take us all the way in the final match of this evening session. Well, Trina found that 140 of her
26.
first turn, but she hasn't found anything in the 3 visits since. And this leg has now been presented on a platter for Robin Byrne.
43.
Midnight snacking and perhaps feasting on the fallibilities of the Golden Girl since that 140 turn.
$85.
Just
Robin, you
needed to
require
stay straight with the last one,
167.
and she looks up to the heavens. You had no luck there, mate, but you got to make your own luck sometimes in this game.
91.
76 left to take us all the way to a last leg decider. Trina needs to find a treble here. Well, not that
55.
one,
Robin, you
but
require
a big treble of a
76.
big description. It's left herself on the hinks. Byrne to take us all the way. Double top.
56.
Doesn't go. Well, this would be some way
Trina,
to
you
finish
require
off.
127.
Stranger things have happened in here.
We speak about
55.
stranger things,
Robin, you
but Trina
require
Gulliver
20.
isn't running up that hill just yet. Byrne back for double 10. But inside on the double 5 has
16.
presented Gulliver an opportunity.
Trina, you
Should get a
require
dart here
72.
to get this one.
Yeah, if she can just stay straight. That's not a bad dart. 57 left.
Double top.
Game
For the
shot
Golden
and the match.
Girl
Trina
to
Gulliver.
finish the night on 4 points. It wasn't the most golden of performances, but they all count the same. And for Trina Gulliver, she's put herself in the mix and right in contention to make it into finals night at Women's Week 4. A 3-1 success against Robin Byrne. That's the final game of the evening session. Myself and Scott Mitchell will analyse what we have seen. But before that, you could join us here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth on any given Saturday or for any of our special events. Take a look at this promotional video to find out some more information.
What on the man?
It's a great stage to play on.
I love coming to the Super Series and playing, especially doing it in front of the crowd.
Can't fault it, I've absolutely loved it and it's been a great experience.
Modus Super Series Women's Week Champion!
To become the first ever female player to hit a televised nine-star finish!
It's history for Paul Breeze! Kirsty Minikina!
The Lancashire Road, Lisa Aston!
Well, what an evening we've enjoyed here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Before the break, we saw Trina Gulliver make it onto 4 points of victory against Robin Byrne. Laura Turner got the better of Gemma Hayter in game number 9 of the evening. Now, that ensured that both her and Gemma Hayter would be on 6 points at the top of the table overnight. So Laura and Gemma both on 6. Because of the margin of victory for Laura in that final game, she gets the jump over Gemma Hayter by way of legs difference. Trina Gulliver just in behind on 4 points, with Clark and Byrne both on 2 going into Friday's action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, which we have been watching in the company of the former world champion Scotty Dog Mitchell. Now, in terms of the players that are top dog, it's Laura Turner this evening. 6 points, 3 wins out of 4 from her campaign. Should be really pleased with the way she's played.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been doubling up today, obviously, with doing commentary in the earlier session. So I think she'll be over the moon with that performance tonight. You know, 3 from 4. Couldn't have asked really much more from herself. And yeah, she'll be happy to get some rest tonight and a bit of a lie-in in the morning.
It felt like she was just clinical this evening.
Yeah, she very much was. And we, you know, I was there at the weekend when she was playing, and to pick up that nice little singles title at the Six Nations has sent her in here with a bit of confidence about her game. And here she is just 4 days later. Ironic that it was Steph Clark that beat her as well for her one loss, her England teammate. But no, she'll be pleased with her night's work tonight. No two ways about it.
You mentioned Steph Clark. I can imagine that she must be feeling rather conflicted tonight, because she had the best performance of the evening, but that's the only win she got.
Yeah, it seemed for her that she had to produce that to get a win, didn't it? It's just the way that it was for her tonight. And, you know, she huffed and she puffed and it didn't quite go her way. But the fact that she did win that one game against the top player of the table, that should sort of spur her on a bit tomorrow and give her a bit more confidence.
Gemma Hayter, the player, on 6 points alongside Laura Turner in terms of the league standings. She won each of her first 3 games in the group. What would be your overall assessment of the way that she played over the course of the evening?
I think, again, she sat in a position where she was 3 out of 3 until that last game. So she'd have took that all day long today. But, yeah, she'd be a little bit disappointed, maybe a bit tired there towards the end of the day. But, yeah, she'd be disappointed that she went down in that game. But she'll be happy that she knows that where you've got to be is in Saturday night, and she's sort of like within touching distance of that.
Is it one of those weird ones then as a player? Because she knows that her A game is there and she's been providing it at times, but maybe she feels like possibly that B game's not quite at the level that she'd want it to be.
Yeah, and when you're a player, you do kind of think me, me, me. So you're only remembering the bad parts of your game. You don't remember the good parts of your game. And I think all players find that. And then when they watch back what they've been doing, they haven't actually played as bad as they feel they've played in their head. So, you've got to be careful that you don't take in too many negatives. And you've got to remember the positives.
Trina Gulliver will take a lot of positives from tonight, won't she?
Yeah, I think so. Again, she's been fits and starts tonight. There's been really good moments and some really nice shooting out, and there's been other times where she's struggled to find the double. So, but yeah, she'll be happy where she is in the group at the moment, and she'll hope to stay there for tomorrow.
In terms of Robin Byrne, could she maybe be found a little bit guilty of a slow start tonight?
I think so. If she's travelled today, then maybe that's been a factor in, the way that she started slowly. I really had her down as value. I'm a big fan of Robin, and when she's playing well, she really can beat anybody. She's got to find that consistency, but like you say, it was a slow start for her today, and I kind of can't. I put it down to travelling on the day that she's played.
It's a new trophy. It's an impressive brand new trophy, and these Women's Weeks here at the Super Series, they're seemingly getting bigger and better, and it's become a real staple of the calendar here.
Yeah, I think so, and it's one that we want to watch. There's some great lady players out there at the minute, and they're all playing at a standard, which is really entertaining to watch. And maybe we've taken the time to get here, but I mean, this is only going to get better and better, in my opinion.
And for players like Kirsty Vinakani, it's given a real vehicle to become, I suppose, household names.
Kirsty's been around an awful long time, and obviously, I've been around the BDO, WDF circuit for a while, and she's been around all that time, and all of a sudden it seems to have clicked into place for her. There's something right, something's going on that's right, and she does look the person to beat after her Group A campaign.
It's going to be very interesting to find out. Scott, thank you so much for your company. As ever, really have appreciated it on this Thursday night. Plenty coming up across Pluto TV over the coming days or so. Coming up once the live darts is done, it's a darts swap challenge, which is going to feature Richie Burnett. And then coming up after that, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see the second session of Group C, where it is Kirsty Hutchinson that leads the way going into that. Sophie McKinley in second position. We'll be looking to get to the Saturday night finale, which we're going to see from 7:30 in the evening. Kirsty Vinakani looking to become the first ever two-time winner of a Specials Week here at the Supers Series. And then, of course, we'll have the Champion of Champions live here on Sunday, double session across Pluto TV. And then, of course, we will have Week 7 for you for Monday morning. The star attraction is Bo Greaves. We'll be watching Bow and Arrow in action there. But as far as tonight is concerned, Laura Turner is top of the table. Well, that might be a turn up for the tables. Gemma Hayter's alongside her on 6. We'll see you tomorrow from 1 o'clock. Take care. Bye for now. A generational talent playing at the peak of her powers.
She steps back, has a good look, and nails it.
To become the first ever female player to hit a televised nine-dart finish.
Finds it with a third dart. Great to get that victory.
Kirsty Vinakani! Brianne O'Sullivan! 54, Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 45. 32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
require
Oki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
ahead.
done.
Got in the match. And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife.